So, Alex, it's that time again.
So, Benjamin.
It's that time again
Yep. Looks that
for
way.
that
Yep.
podcast number 7.
Ah,
3 weeks, three
seven.
3 weeks in a row now. We've been doing these consistently.
Well, again, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna go outside. You're gonna go to the shops. You know what you're gonna do.
No, nothing much. So we're back again this week, listeners, and yeah, let's just cue the intro.
Man, what an intro that was. That was amazing.
It was top quality. So welcome back.
I.
Oh no, carry on.
Yep.
You talk.
I was gonna say I especially liked the parts of the intro with me in them.
Yes, you have some quality.
Don't know who the fuck that other guy was, but
He
yeah,
looked-
the
he
bits of me were amazing in the intro.
Yes, of course. But anyway, yes, welcome back
Yeah.
to On The Spotcast. Our, it's actually quite regular recently, but it's normally not regular.
Yeah.
Podcast, all about the world of games and just our lives in general. This week, we have a topic, because we're advised by some of our friends, colleagues, compatriots, that it'd be good if we had a topic to have a general focus on, but not too hard. So this week's topic is all about remakes and remasters, because there seems to be a few of them coming out recently. So we're going to be talking about...
Just yesterday, which was one reason why I said that was a pretty good topic choice. It was announced that there'd be a remaster of the first Crisis game coming
Yes,
to Xbox One, PS4, PC, and the Switch.
I saw that bit of news. I'm unfamiliar with anything to do with that game in the first place, but there you go. Any opinion on that?
On the Crisis remaster.
No, on my lack of knowledge about it.
I think, being honest, it'd be best to talk to Bruno about it, because he's like Mr. Big Crisis. He's the reason I got into Crisis, because he's like, oh, Crisis 2 is so amazing and Crisis 3 is so amazing. Which, to be fair, they are. But he's like the closest thing that we have to a Crisis expert.
I see. Well, anyway.
The best I can sort of describe it is that it sort of takes the open-ended gameplay and sort of sandbox of a Halo game, but ramps it up massively so you can interact with so much stuff in the environment and approach so many fights in so many different ways. And you've got this special suit called the nano suit, which allows all these different approaches. Like, you get extra armor so you can take more gunfire. You have cloak, so of course you can stealth your way through. You have you can move much faster than normal. You can jump much higher than normal, and you can also interact with you can pick up barrels, you can pick up crates, you can pick up you can kick cars into enemies. You can do so much stuff. Like, you can approach any encounter in a Crisis game in at least 10, I'd say at least 10 different ways, especially in Crisis 2, which in my opinion is probably the best one. You get popped into these these wide and high open areas that have so many different things you can do. You have loads of cover, so you can tank your way through using armor and all the weapons scattered around. You can stealth your way past loads of normal enemies, just go through killing as few ones as possible, as few enemies as possible if you want. You can use your cloak and that to stealth kill as many enemies as you want. You have high up perches that you can snipe from.
Do you think perhaps
you can if there's a turret, you can grab that and you can rip it off and use it. You get so many options in a Crysis game, and that's what makes Crysis so good in that.
So yes, thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
For that rather large tangent. We've just lost
There's also a really pretty complex and interesting story. The free games have, but I won't go into that.
No,
if you want to know about that, you'll have to talk to Bruno.
We can leave Crysis where it is at the moment. I think.
Okay.
I think we may have lost half the listenership by now. But anyway, yes, let's get on to it. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about remakes and remasters. General other bits and pieces too. We'll try to stick with all the normal sections. But we're going to begin with just games of the week, because I want to get that one out of the way. So
sounds like a plan.
I'll start because you've been talking for the last 5 minutes. So
yeah.
Oh god, excuse me. Oh, I have some trapped wind. So basically, I've just been playing Snooker 19 all week.
Again.
That's it, really. Just once again, still going towards the platinum.
Play something different.
I don't have anything else to play.
Modern Warfare 2 remastered multiplayer. Oh.
Well, I do have a list of platinums that I want to get, which I'll get into later on. But yeah, I still have been doing Snooker 19. Going through both them last 2 trophies for getting ranked championships wins and for winning the world championship. Now I've made progress on them. I've got to get 37 ranking titles. I now have 29.
Oh, you're getting there?
And I have to get 8 world championship wins, and I have 3 of them so far. So, yeah, I'm making some progress. But I did actually get that last DLC trophy. I can't remember when it was. Was it earlier this week or last week or something like that? And that was the one that I was really struggling on for months, because it was literally like luck based and almost half impossible to do, and I managed to just do it somehow. So that was the most happy I've been about a trophy in a while, actually. But what have you been doing this week?
Well, this Monday and Tuesday just gone. Like I said in the last podcast, I went through Gears of War 4 again in prep when I get Gears of War 5 for my birthday, and my birthday was yesterday from when we're recording this, which is April the 17th. So
It is.
Thank you all the people in the comments saying late happy birthday, thank you. And Ben's birthday was the day before that, so
They're not there.
So you can say late happy birthday to him too.
Yes, I don't think they will, but you hold out hope.
Well, you never know.
No, I don't. But
Gears of War 4 still in me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I can't comment on like the multiplayer, the co-op stuff, because I have 2 minor problems with Gears of War 4, which are kind of which are downgrades from Gears of War 3. Gears of War 3, you can do the co-op modes, you can do the multiplayer stuff, you can do all of that by yourself or split screen. Gears of War 4, you can only do all of that stuff online, which is really disappointing considering, like I say, Gears 4 and even Gears Judgment, even Gears of War 2 to an extent, you could do every single mode or part of the game you could access by yourself or with a friend in split screen and that, and Gears of War 4 doesn't do that. And also the really most minor one, Gears of War 4 soundtrack is garbage. I know it's by a good composed. I know of a certain song. As soon as I say it's by the Game of Thrones composer, who's like, oh, but he does good music. I'm like, yes, he's done other good music, but his Gears of War 4 stuff, and from what I've heard, his Gears of War 5 stuff, it's just terrible for the main sole reason that he doesn't carry over any of the themes or any of the stuff from the Gears of Wars 1 to 3, which all had a very specific sound. I suppose yourself from Uncharted or that certain franchises, they develop a sort of certain feel.
Well,
and style
yes,
to their music.
The composer for Uncharted, who I'm trying to remember their name now, his or her name, Christ, what was it? I don't remember. I really want to look what it was now. It's really annoying me. Christ, it's not on the back of the game case. Oh, I need to Google it now. Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome. But like our certain franchise, like all game franchises, or most game franchises, if they're like a trilogy or that, they have tracks that carry through each film that bring a sort of sense of familiarity when you've played the games for so long. Like Ezio's Family in the earlier Assassin's Creed games. And Gears of War 4 has absolutely none of that whatsoever. And what is kind of ironic is that Halo 4 doesn't do that either. But I love Halo 4's soundtrack, and Gears of War 4's soundtrack is just the most generic shit I think I've heard in a video game for quite some time.
His name is Greg Edmondson.
Well, what else has he done?
Just reading.
He's done Last of Us.
I'm reading the very brief thing on his Wikipedia page here, just for what. He's a music composer for television and movies. He's primarily known for composing the soundtrack to the cult TV series Firefly.
Oh.
He is also the composer for the first 3 Uncharted video games and for a number of American animated sitcom series King of the Hill. Looking through his discography, he didn't do anything after Uncharted 3, but yeah, I mean, the good thing about Uncharted 3, going back to this guy anyway, is it has, as you may know, there's a specific main theme song of all the Uncharted games. It's called Nate's theme. It's the same, tune, if you want to call it that, for each one, but it's remade every time, as well as the other soundtracks in the game, in the style of where the games are set and using instruments and things like that from those places. So in the first,
cool.
So in the first Uncharted game, when you're set in, on a remote island, it's fairly sort of, a bit tropical and a bit, that kind of jungle kind of sounding noises. So you got, I can't think of anything on top of my head because that's the one I've played the least. Uncharted 2, obviously where I started off, it's the same theme again, but it's set in a lot of the Himalayas, in places like Tibet, so it's got a lot of sort of spiritual sounding soundtrack to that. So it features a lot of like Tibetan instruments and drums and
like
sort of
throat singing and stuff.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, throat singing is a good example. There's a lot of bits of that, and just lots of what you'd think like if you were to imagine like some sort of Tibetan small village living in the mountains, sort of isolated from the world, and you can imagine the sort of things that you might hear there. And sort of, they're coming on to 3. Obviously, 3 was largely based around a desert, the Rubicali Desert in Saudi Arabia. So that soundtrack features a lot of like Middle Eastern style music. So you got like sitar music and a lot of like very what I'd call trippy music, because they feature a lot about mind control and about losing your mind in the desert, and there's a lot of that sort of style to it. And then Uncharted 4 is largely about pirates, so you get a bit more of that mixed in there as well. So but yeah, so that's a good example. I don't know how he got onto soundtracks. Oh yeah, because you talked about Gears of 4.
About how Gears of War 4 soundtrack I think is crap because it doesn't carry over anything from the previous games and it feels really disconnected and detached as a result. That's how we got onto it.
So is that the games you've been playing?
Aside from those, I'm just going to finish off because the Gears of War 4 is like the only thing I played recently. I was just going to say a few final things. Like, aside from those 2 things, Gears of War 4 is just so good. Some people shit on that Gears of War 4 for its story. But I think Gears of War 4 story is the only good Gears of War story outside of the novels. Because Gears 1 story is a total non-event. Gears Judgment's story is half okay and half good when it ties into Gears of War 3. Gears of War 2 story is decent. Gears of War 3 story is good. But Gears of War 4 story, just like Halo 4 story, is the best story in their respective franchise. And there were 2 scenes near the end, one of which I said about in the last podcast, which made me really hyped up for Gears 5 story, and a scene beforehand that both just give me such great chills. And if any Gears of War fans if there's any Gears of War fans out of the 3 people that are watching and listening to this, that play Gears 4, they'll be like, I know what you're talking about, because one scene is just perfect. It's just beautiful fan service of the most, just the best kind. If you played for all the games and that, like I have, and then the final scene that I said about the last podcast, just mind-blowingly amazing. You're like, oh my god, I want to know where this story goes. So yeah, I've just been playing Gears 4, and since then I've been in. Well, I was just sort of dicks about watching some YouTube, and then it was my birthday, and since then I've been installing my birthday games.
Fair enough.
Gears of War 5 is just... Gears 5 is literally just now finished doing the 20 gigs of updates, and tomorrow I'll start installing Jedi Fallen Order. And then next week I'll start my birthday games, which will probably be what you've been playing for next podcast.
Fair enough. I mean, you've kind of covered a couple of things I was going to bring up there, which was the birthday thing. There's not much I can talk about on my side of it. Except I can now inform the audience we are 24 years old.
Yeah,
which means
24.
This podcast has a combined age of 48. Out of interest.
Bloody hell.
There you go. I think we should get on to our topic for today, which is remakes and remasters. This topic is all going to be about just general opinions of remakes and remasters, perhaps games that we'd like to see remastered, which is probably where we're going to focus on heavily, and perhaps games that we don't want to see remastered as well, because I was talking to Isabel last night and she actually reminded me of a game that I wouldn't be interested in seeing be remastered, so that is something to think about.
I'm interested to hear that.
It's also
I'm
one
interested to hear that.
Yeah, it's also one that she had on there. You might be able to think of some games. I mean, for me, thinking of games that I didn't want remastered was hard, because a game I didn't want remastered would generally be a game that I wasn't interested in the first place. So it's hard.
Yeah.
But
always be a game that you played and you didn't like.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, well, I can think of some of those. Definitely be. Yeah. That could be a future topic for another podcast. Games that we thought we'd love, but we never did.
Or games that massively disappointed us.
Yeah, that sounds more like a Thursday follow-up kind of feature, doesn't it? That one.
Oh yeah.
That one sounds more like that.
Well, I just gave you a video idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will forget that in due course. So I'm just gonna. I think we should just start out by saying, obviously, there's been a few remakes, remasters recently. As we discussed, Modern Warfare 2 had the campaign remasters. Then we had Resident Evil 3 got remakes rather than remastered, wasn't it?
The remake.
You got there is a difference in those. You've got to be careful when you see which ones. So that got a remake because that was what was that?
I'd argue that the Modern Warfare 2 remastered, similar to the COD 4 remaster, I'd say that's sort of bordering on a remake, because they completely redid everything from the ground up. The new animations. Added to the
but they're still using, I think, whereas I think from Resident Evil 3, from having seen playthroughs of it in the old game, there is a lot of difference in that.
Oh yeah, the Resi 2 and the Resi 3, they are full on, as as full on remake as you could get, because they've gone from the fixed camera, sort of that style, to full on over the shoulder Resi 4, Resi 5, Resi 6 style. That's a totally different genre. That is a full on remake that's undeniable.
There was an interesting one I saw. Interesting this morning was it's a game that I never played before, because probably I think it was actually it was on the N64, which is the Nintendo 64, older gaming device, before our time, quite before our time. And the reason I bring it up is because
it was around when we were born, so it's just our time.
Well, it is, but it's not within our time to be able to actually have played it at the time of release or remember it.
Oh no, definitely.
But yes, so the reason I bring it up is because the classic Star Wars pod racing game is being remastered on PS4 and Switch this May. Which I just thought was a really random.
Isn't it like Bombad? You on about Bombad Race? Is it Bombad Racing? Or is it a different one?
It's Star Wars Pod Racer. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, it's called, or something like that. Star Wars Episode.
Totally random.
I know, it's very random, isn't it?
Pick.
It's, I don't know why.
So yeah,
essentially.
going to be going into games I'd want to be remastered. You've got the OG Battlefronts, you've got Republic Commando, you've got the Episode 3 game, you've got Knights of the Old Republic, you've got all of them. Let's go for the pod racing.
Yes,
game.
it's strange, but I mean, I'm looking at a little bit of footage of it right now as we're talking, and it's made in Unreal Engine 4, and it actually looks quite good graphically wise. It looks
That's because Unreal 4's an amazing engine.
I don't know how interesting it would be, because obviously it's only one course as a race course in pod racing. Surely it's the one on Tatooine, and that's it. I
have no idea.
I don't see. I mean, I guess you could do it. I don't know how it works, but it just struck me as a very random thing to come out this morning to say they're remaking an N64 game on PS4 and Nintendo Switch on May 12th. How random. But yeah, so that was also another remake that I wanted to add on the list. So games that I want remastered, I'm not going to spend ages dwelling on these. I'm just going to rattle them off, and I suggest you do the same because we don't want to spend forever doing this. There's a couple here from Isabel as well that I'm just going to mention. I'll do hers first. She wants, and actually I would be interested in playing this one as well, but Okamiden, which is the sequel. It is the sequel to Okami.
Well, they remastered the first one technically, didn't they?
Yes, but this one would
you consider that a remaster?
It's an HD release, isn't it? It's not a remaster at all. It's an HD release, which is hence the name Okami HD.
I said they did the first one, so no reason why they can't do the second one.
It's not really. I mean, yes, but the thing is, the second one was only ever released on Nintendo DS, so it was a handheld game. But yeah, I would like to see it, and I think she would as well. And also something Isabel wants is Mortal Kombat 9 on the PS4. Don't know why. She's really gotten into. She's got 10 and 11. She's just really interested in the story, and I think obviously there's a big gaps between those games, and Mortal Kombat 9 was a bit of a a reboot. So
but now story-wise is on reboot.
So yeah, that's her two games. Most of my games I've listed are generally from the PS2 era. Obviously, because I couldn't really think of any PS3 games that I wanted to be generally remastered. The ones that I generally have are already there, and I think they're going to do anyway. But one is Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original PS2 one. Not the most recent.
That's one of mine. Every Star Wars fan wants that.
Well, we'd like to see that. Obviously, it's something I'd like to have is the original Splinter Cell trilogy remade or remastered into. And also just because I can then play them on the PS4 would be good.
The thing is, with these, I think one thing that would be neat is if you stay in the game, if you'd want it to be a remaster, like just as it was, but with new graphics, or actually rebuilt with more modern mechanics and stuff from the ground up.
Well, I think for something
like Battlefront, would you rather?
For a game like the original, I think I'd rather be.
Rather than just graphics.
I think it'd rather be just be the graphics. Obviously, you could improve the animation slightly, but I'm just saying, I think you'd lose what made it a classic sort of game in your memory if if it got changed. Something else I've written on here. This is something I'd generally like to see, which is a remaster of the Jak and Daxter trilogy. But I'm talking fully remade from the ground up, like the Crash Insane trilogy was. Because if Naughty Dog,
that was a big success too.
Because they were, although they were exactly the same levels that they were fully remade in the exact same way from the ground up. So I'd like to see that done. Yeah, I mean, if it can happen to one Naughty Dog series, then I don't know why it can't happen to the other one. That's what I want to say. I mean, I know Jak and Daxter.
It technically happened with 2 because they did it with Uncharted as well, didn't they? They remastered Uncharted as well.
Well, yes.
And Last of Us.
Yes. Well, those, although but they were only getting ported from the PS3 over to the PS4, so that wasn't such a massive job, that one. But I'd like to see it fully remade from the ground up, like the Crash Insane trilogy, which I know the Jak games already have releases again. They have HD releases on the PS3 and PS4. I've got the platinums and all of them. But
of course you do.
I'd like to see a fully because I remember when the first footage for the Crash Insane trilogy came out. It's an amazingly beautiful game. the detail in those levels is, on a stupidly high level of remaster for that. It looks better than your memories do of the game. That's when you know it's been done well.
But you see comments on like the Modern Warfare 2 remastered ones say this remaster looks like how the original did to me when I played it back when it came out.
But then you watch a side-by-side comparison, and that's when you realise how much difference it is.
Yeah.
Because everything in your
I noticed that with Modern Warfare 2. I never realised before just how sort of, I don't know, white and plain the original sort of looks.
I know, the thing is,
the remaster's just like massively detailed.
Everyone's memories are in HD remasters.
Yeah.
You remember?
Basically, yeah.
I remember playing GTA 3, as I'm using this as a recent example because that's what I talked about in the podcast last time. I remember playing it when I was young, very young, and I remember it looking really good. And I go back to play it a few weeks ago, and it looks like Potato People.
I had that little when I replayed the first Force Unleashed. I remember that being like the most beautiful game ever, and it still looks good because like Star Wars art style is just timeless. I'm like, man, I don't think the textures looking so rough.
When I went through them, when I was going through that little stage on PlayStation Now, and I was going through the old Gods of War, and I did the Force Unleashed, both of them. I remember it. It does look alright. Not as bad as say GTA 3 looked. But that was a whole console beforehand. So my last game that I'd like to see remastered is The Witcher 3. But I'd like a PS5 release so I can platinum the game again.
How about this? If they remade the first one with like more modern, like with some more similar systems to the second and third.
If they
remastered the second and then bundled them all together.
Well, yeah.
What would you say about that? Witcher Trilogy remastered.
I haven't played the first Witcher game. I've only played the second and the third, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they ever got released on consoles, were they? The other two, they were just.
Well, the second did. I don't think. No, the first one hasn't yet.
No. But yeah, no, I mean, I'd be up for that. But yeah, I'd like to see The Witcher 3 at least.
We'd never see you again, though. You'd just be like, you'd just be in hibernation permanently.
Yeah, I'd like to see The Witcher 3 and that get released on PS5 so I can platinum the game for a second time. So, any games you'd like to see get remastered or remade, or?
Well, OG Battlefront 2, just like you, just as it was with like the graphics of the new Battlefronts. I don't mind the new Battlefronts, but they'll never beat OG Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just nostalgia talking. I don't know. They just won't for me. We said Simpsons Hit and Run would be quite neat, especially
That's
if they
true.
like,
That's something I didn't think
like
about.
deliberately. If they just flat out deliberately stole like stuff from like GTA 5 and that,
A
quite
lot of people being PC based release a lot of mods for things like that where they've remade the game in already. So maybe they could just nick it off them.
Modern Warfare 3 would be cool if they've done the first two.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of an inevitable one though.
Well, yes, I think it's probably already on the way.
I'm surprised they haven't remastered Gears of War 2 and 3, considering they remastered the first one. They could have done like the Master Chief Collection, where they did them all at once and bundled them. It's just kind of weird to me that they didn't do that with Gears of War. Mass Effect Trilogy, definitely. Like, especially if they add all the DLC, I would buy that, and that would be like, with Witcher, you just would not see me again for like 5 months.
I haven't seen you for months this year anyway.
Transformers War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, because they're the best Transformers games ever. I'd like to see them remastered. Both Force Unleashed games, again, wouldn't mind being... A lot of my sort of remastered ones, because of course the Xbox One's backwards compatible. I know the PS5 and the new Xbox will be, but it's like... I'm like, this game would be neat to be remastered, but I can play on my newer systems anyway. You know, I'm like, I could do without, but still be cool to see. What else? I think I sort of covered it all. Like Mass Effect, definitely I want remastered. Gears 2 and 3, I'd like to see remastered. Arkham Origins, wouldn't mind seeing remastered. Warfare 3, wouldn't mind seeing remastered. One, I do have a thing that I'd like to see remade completely from the ground up.
Which is?
Fear Free, because the Fear Free we got is a complete garbage fire that absolutely offends me as a Fear fan. They want to get the team Monolith, who did the first two games, to completely remake Fear Free from the ground up as they originally intended.
Right.
So yeah, there's
Okay.
several games that I see remastered and one I want to see completely remade anew.
Fair enough. There are games that we don't want to see remastered. Now, this is a random one. Isabel was the one that actually came out with this one. I do agree with it.
First of all, hello Isabel, and second, good idea Isabel. I never thought of that.
Yeah, well, it's more the fact that she, I don't think she ever generally came out with the idea of games we don't want to, but it's just the way she said it, and I was like, oh, that'd be interesting to talk about. But it is Assassin's Creed 1.
Oh, I totally forgot. I'd want to see that, but completely remade from the ground up, because they can't even do like AC2, just update the graphics, because AC1 is so archaic and bare bones.
Yes,
that's why full-on remake.
That's why I wouldn't be interested, because of how boring it would be to play through it. And I think she agrees on the same, because it is just as you say.
Like I said, would you want if they did it like a full-on remake, like
if
actually
they
gave the combat some depth, the stealth some depth, made the world actually alive with side missions and stuff? Would you actually want that?
Well, yeah. If they were to like say put it into the Assassin's Creed sort of Brotherhood Revelations engine, say, much like it is when you play in the old tire bits in Revelations. If they made it like that, then yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah. But for just updating the graphics is a big no-no for me.
Well, no, yeah, I mean,
it's so archaic.
No, it just wouldn't be. It was. I mean, I don't know. I've famously talked about this before. I know it's not actually that famous, but I fell asleep. I fell asleep playing it. I was laying on the chair playing Assassin's Creed 1, and I generally fell asleep playing it.
It's so dry and sterile,
repetitive,
and like in the Ezio games, Black Flag Origins, there's a sort of like an epic feel and there's a certain like spirit to Assassin's Creed, but the first one just completely utterly lacks.
Can I ask, which did you play first in the Assassin's Creed series? What game?
The first one. I started with got the first two for my birthday and never looked back.
Because I started with 2. I started with 2.
Yeah, so many people did. That's the thing. If you start with the second
one
and
back
then go straight to the first one, you're just like, you can't.
No.
I still enjoy the first one, but yeah, for me, I think a lot of people, Assassin's Creed, like sort of proper started with the second game. The second game is what the first one should have been in every way.
So, other games you don't want to see remastered?
Honestly, none. It's a good topic, but I never sort of I could pick out loads of games I don't give a shit about. But,
well, everyone could do that. But...
yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just have no idea what I'd sort of pick.
I'm thinking about it in my head right now. I'm sort of thinking, is there a game that they would... The angle I'm trying to come to it to is, would they ruin it by remastering it? That's the word.
I don't think unless it's fucking Return to Arkham, which is just a fucking cash grab that's unfinished. Fuck Return to Arkham. Unless you really like half-assed it, I bought loads of remasters and none of them have ruined the game for me. They've only sort of improved them because the upgraded graphics, the better frame rate, the fact that they bundle all the DLC. Apart from Return to Arkham, which again is just a travesty, I've not played a single remaster that's ruined the original for me, and plus, I still own the original, so if it did, I could just play the originals again. But I think a remaster couldn't ruin it, but a remake straight from the ground up, that could, like you said last time with the Resident Evil 3 remake, they've removed whole levels from it. That could ruin a game, but just upgrading the graphics and that, I don't see it could, personally.
I think the only games that, I could say that could be necessarily ruined were games that were lovable because of the style that they were in originally. Take something like, like Mario or something, it's something that is very, very much... of its time. You wouldn't take Mario now and re-put it into, proper, graphics and make it, you know, I mean, I know there are modern Mario games, but I'm just saying you wouldn't take something like that and bring it up to that, because then it would sort of take away half the charm that the original had. I think
2D games just graphically age better than 3D ones. I think that's just sort of an established thing. 2D games from like the early 90s, they still look good. Whereas 3D games, because they're trying to look more realistic and like potato people in GTA 3, they just, with time, just look laughable.
I think not always do just graphic remasters work. I mean, I remember not long ago I played the Shadow of the Colossus remake. Well, I don't know if it's a remake or a remaster.
That's a full-on remake.
But even though it looks great, it kept a lot of the old clunkiness from the PS2 release, and that was what I didn't like about it. So I think a lot of it, sometimes they don't focus on remaking everything. Some people just make it look more shiny, but it still keeps a lot of the game's original, what you might call charm, but some people might call annoying things. It's dependent on when you first played it, but I never played it back in the day, so playing it now in a modern sense, when I've played other games that, you know, are virtually open worlds.
You don't have the nostalgia of playing it back when it first came out.
There's nothing. It's not like I go back and think, oh great, this is like my childhood. It's like I go back thinking, why the fuck have I got to hit this button so much to get a fucking horse to move, man? I want you to just go in that direction, not steer in that direction, you clunky piece of crap. But there's no nostalgia there for me. But that is generally it for games I wouldn't want to see remastered. I can't think of any more either, to be honest.
I can't think of any, apart from, again, if I listed off just game after game after game that I don't care about and wouldn't have bought anyway.
What is, in your opinion...
That's a pretty good question, though.
What is, in your opinion, the best remaster you've played? What is the game that was just, you know, what was the game, or it could be a trilogy of games that got remastered. What was, you know, the best example of a game being absolutely remade or remastered in such a great way that actually it improved on the original? And your memories of it. I'm thinking about it now. I probably have to pick, I'd probably have to pick the Crash Insane trilogy. Just because I mean, I would put Modern Warfare 2 in a close second, but obviously it only has the campaign remastered, so I can't necessarily say it's the whole game remastered. But the Crash Insane trilogy, obviously, I remember playing them when I was younger, particularly Crash 3 Warped, more than anything else. And when they got remade from the ground up, I mean, you know, that game looks visually, it looks stunning. It was every bit as good as the original. Reminded everyone exactly how hard those games were back in the day. And, you know, everything about it was just, it's like you're instantly back in your childhood, but it looks better than what you thought it used to look. And it, you know, it plays better. And I think that was probably one of the best actual remasters I've seen in terms of taking a game that, you know, looked like potatoes back then and making it look absolutely outstanding in today's standards. Can you think of anything? Can you think of anything?
I'm thinking, but like I said, apart from Return to Arkham, every like remaster I own, because I own the Ezio Collection, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, the 360 remaster of Assassin's Creed Liberation. I own the Gears of War 1 remaster. I own the Master Chief Collection.
But which is the best?
Now, thanks, since they've added ODST and Reach, is like 6 remasters. I own so many remasters, and apart from Return to Arkham, they have all improved upon the original versions for me.
But which one do you love the most?
That's a pretty hard question.
There must be one that stands out that you just think, oh, that one was done just a little bit more than, a little bit better than the other ones were. Must be one that sort of stands out, like, oh, you know what? I mean, not taking anything away from the other ones, but that one for me was really, you know, I was more excited about that one than I was anything else. Silence.
I'll go for the Master Chief Collection.
Okay.
Because there's just so much content. Like you have the Halo, the remaster that they did of Halo 1 for the 10th anniversary, Halo 2 remaster they did for the 10th anniversary of that. Halo 3, Halo 4, and now ODST and Reach, all in 60 FPS, 1080p, and even 4K support. If you have an Xbox One, they've all been got 4K support now, so they'll look extra nice if you have a 4K TV. You have all the multiplayer maps for them, and new multiplayer maps done in a new engine for Halo 2. You've got the Firefight co-op mode for Reach. You've got the Spartan Ops second campaign for Halo 4. There's so much stuff on the disc at such a good price, and it's just such high quality content.
Tell you something.
You could it's just so. If you want to get into the Halo, also final thing, if you wanted to get into Halo, you just need to buy that. Just need to buy that and buy the ODST and Reach DLCs, and that's just the perfect way to get into the Halo series.
Well, tell you something I've just thought of, actually, in terms of games I'd like to see remastered. I just thought of another one. Recently I was watching, well, it was an older, not that much older, a few months ago. It was a PlayStation Access stream, and it's a game that I've never played, but I would like to have played, and it's Half-Life.
I played Half-Life 2 and both of its episodes. I played the first one. That does need
and it's obviously they have the orange box release, which is what I watched. I watched them play through Half-Life 2, a bit of it, and it actually looks quite good. So I'd like a chance to. I do have a PS3, so I could get it on that, but I mean, I don't ever like buying games for older generations these days, 'cause I feel like it's just a step backwards. I prefer.
If it was if the PS4 had backwards compatibility, you probably wouldn't feel that way.
Well, yeah, well, that's different. You're not buying it for a PS3 then, are you? But yeah, I mean that's a game that I'd like to see. It's very random, I know, but it's just because I was watching it the other day and I liked that. So
Your curiosity was piqued.
It was, among many other things. So anyway, yeah, I think we'll move on from remakes and remasters now and just cover some of the other sections.
If there's any specific remakes or remasters that the free people listening to this, like in particular, would want to see in the future, drop them down below and we'll read them out if we get any next podcast.
Do so. So anyway, let's move on now and on to just general bits and pieces, all these little things that we like to talk about normally. So platinums. Let's talk about platinums, shall we? Good idea.
Here we go again.
So last time we went through my platinums. I listed everyone I got because I'd gone through I put the display on my wall of the platinums that I have. Whereas this time I've actually come up with what I call a platinum plan, which is I've gone through my trophy list the other night because I was just not really feeling like playing anything at the time. And I went through and I picked out all the games that I haven't got the platinum on yet, because probably most likely because something else came out or just for some reason or other. And I've listed out 20 games that I would like to platinum, at least hopefully before coronavirus and we all have to go back to work or school or whatever people do. So
you've got till June probably.
Well, yeah, I don't have to go back to work until June.
The biggest estimate that will be over June.
Well, yes. In June for me is when the hotel will reopen anyway. So I'm going to just run through these games real quick. I'm not going to massively talk about why, unless it's so first one is Arkham Knight. I don't know why, but I think it's just some of the challenge type things that I just didn't do. There's not much in that.
That's usually the thing, that ones that haven't planned on that, they haven't done the challenge map.
It's just things like that, and all the different DLC trophies that come with it for all the different little packs for like getting, especially going through like every challenge map as that character, then do it that character. It's like tedious, but there you go.
You don't have to do every one.
Goat Simulator is my next one.
For the main Batman one, you just need to do the base game ones. You don't need to bother with much of the DLC stuff.
Yes, but no, I have to do the DLC trophies because even if you get the platinum, your percentage of game completion will still be less than 100% because the trophies for DLC will be on there. That's quite a famous one. I was looking at my trophy percentage for Rocket League the other day, and even though I have the platinum in the game, the trophy completion rate for that is 45%. 50% of the
That's good.
trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all come out with like 6 trophies each. So I'm massively behind. I'm never going to go back and get them because I just don't want to keep buying it all. But yeah. So Goat Simulator.
That's a blast from the past.
I have not platinumed it, and I have 100 trophies to go through on that because of all 5 DLC things that are with it. So that's a lot. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Just once again,
I'm surprised you ain't platinum.
once again, there's just a few trophies in the main game that I just didn't get. I think there's like a lot of ones for replaying the game in challenge mode where you have to complete levels in like under certain times and difficulties. So it's things like that really, and a lot of DLC trophies on that one. Assassin's Creed Revelations, just general bits and pieces.
On the Ezio collection.
Yeah, we're on Ezio. Yes, we're on Ezio collection. These are all PS4 games.
You've done 2 and Brotherhood, I'm guessing.
Yeah, these are all PS4 games. I haven't done Brotherhood because I can't be asked to get the flags yet. But it is next on the list after that. The Order 1886 is a game that just requires a few.
From the past.
Return to Arkham City, challenge maps. Return to Arkham Asylum, challenge maps.
Oh, Arkham Asylum's a hell. Arkham City's a hell at all.
Uncharted The Lost Legacy, which is just general trophies and that, normal Uncharted ones. We'll do that. Modern Warfare 3, which is only Spec Ops trophies. Survival trophies.
Yeah, I need them for and Warfare 2.
The one for getting everything from the airstrikes and everything from the weapon box in one go. Don't know.
I've done those ones because I played so much Survival trying to get
those are the only 2 I have left.
15,
and plus some DLC trophies just for random things. Spec Ops mainly.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare. Did I write that down? Which one did I just say? Oh yeah, I said Modern Warfare 3. Shadow of War. Just general stuff. Nothing much on that. Just mainly DLC stuff.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Origins, but mainly just a few random trophies and things like witness bugs raining in the desert, which I haven't somehow managed to never witness. Other people seem to have it
run into the desert until you start hallucinating, and then you wait.
I do that, but I never get that one. I never get that. I just get burning trees.
You just keep running, and you can get multiple ones in a row. Just run into a desert, just hallucinate until you get it. That's basically what you need to do. That's one of the first ones I got. Because DLC was just an empty desert.
That and
ran out there and got it.
That and just some DLC trophies. Then we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is much similar to Rise of the Tomb Raider, that style. God of War, PS4. Then Jak 3, which is the 3rd game in the PS4 Jak and Daxter series, and then Days Gone at the end of that list. So that is 20. Well, it's actually 18 actually, because another ones that aren't in that box at the moment is Snooker 19, which I'm currently doing, and then the last 2 trophies in Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. And breathe. And
I've got sort of similar plan myself, but I've only got 4 games on it, so I've got a shorter one.
Fair enough.
Jedi Fallen Order because it's just it's all single player and there's no difficulty stuff. The Force Unleashed, the DLCs for both of them I bought, and I'll even do them on the hard difficulties because I've done the base games on the hard difficulties. So, and the 4th one, really random. I don't know if you've heard of a game called Dark Void.
Doesn't sound familiar.
But I got every achievement in the base game for that, including on the highest difficulty, because I was able to do a new game plus. I had all my health max level, my jetpack max level, my weapons all fully upgraded. And they released a DLC pack for it, which sort of was like a horde mode thing. And I'm thinking that sometime I might grab that and, get all the final achievements I need for that. But by the end of this year, I'll have 3 Star Wars games complete the 100% achievements on by the end of this year. And Jedi Fallen Order will probably be in the next month.
Yeah, well, I already have the platinum for that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the trophies were like for that. I don't think they were particularly. I'm now looking on my trophy list
There's
as we
a
talk.
shit ton of collectibles. I've done it, printed off a guide. There's 500 collectibles.
Yeah.
There's 20 different kinds of collectibles. 500 in total.
Well,
But apart from that, it's pretty much just use this force move so and so times, do this to enemies so and so times.
I don't think
That's pretty much what the majority.
I don't think there's anything particularly missable. It's generally mainly, like you say, based around doing specific things and exploration. There's plenty of exploration
I think there's
things.
one achievement tied to a unique animal type on one planet, which you can only fight once. There's like a certain achievement for like using a force move on a certain force power on it. But yeah, apart from that, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything missable in that game.
You don't remember what it was called?
Like even post story, you can just run around and do stuff.
You don't remember what it was called, though? Because I don't remember a specific trophy. The only one I know is, and I'm just going to say this, is cut off the tongue of one of them.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That's as far as I know, the only missable one.
No, that's not missable at all, because you can just go back to the same planets and they just keep respawning.
Oh, I thought I read somewhere though that those special wildlife ones, they only spawn once and that's it. I don't know.
Cutting the tongue off.
I read some places that those special animals, one of which you have to do that to, and they only spawn once.
Well, there's the one that's called.
I didn't know that they respawn.
The achievement is called, or trophy is called, Cal Got Your Tongue? ? And it's for slicing off an Ogdo's tongue. Now they spawn on a specific beginning planet that you focus on a lot on.
Yeah, that's exactly the one. I just checked.
Yeah, that was one of the last trophies I got, because I just went around the world just picking up random trophies that I've missed. And yeah, you can, every time you go back to that planet, they fucking there's like 5 of them around the whole planet that continuously respawn. All the enemies in the game respawn, because you can go back and there's certain ones for like I had to do the one for I had to do for the ones that for deflecting a certain amount of blaster bolts back at enemies. So I just kept getting on the ship, flying to that planet, deflect the loads, then fly to the other one. And so you can.
There's also deflecting missiles back at enemies.
Yeah, well, once again, they're always in the same sort of areas. So yeah, there are certain perhaps enemies that, but I don't think there is anything generally missable as far as I know. I mean, the platinum, 4.4% of people have it, but most of the trophies seem to be gained by everyone apart from maybe a couple collectible ones.
Well, like I said, there's so many collectibles.
Tell you what, the most annoying one can be.
There's so many collectibles.
The most annoying one that I found, which is the one that took me the longest, which was the last one I had to do, is the one, I'm trying to find it now, it is called, what's it called? Green Thumb. Have a fully grown terrarium.
Oh god, I've heard about that. I've heard that one can be.
It takes forever. If I were you, this is what I would like to have known when I first started doing it is start doing it early, so all the plants will grow over the course of the game. Because I spent ages flying around to different planets, doing different things, trying to get time to progress in the game, and eventually I got it. But that took a while to get them to grow. But and also
What's weird, I've read because I've gone through achievements, all this stuff to get the stuff for my guides that I print off. Some people got it really easily, and other people it took them 2 weeks after doing everything else to get it. That achievement just seems to be a whole lot of just trial and error grind.
The plants tend to grow more the further away you get from your ship. So what I did is got on planets that I knew I could get far enough away and do something and then run back again. Particularly Kashyyyk is quite a good example of this. You can get very, very, very far away on that map. You will have fun, by the way, negotiating some of the ways that get collectibles and that, because a lot of the maps are very confusing. Big worlds, but a lot of it confusing, and lots of little shortcuts and hidden sneaky bits that you wouldn't know about. So
very Arkham Asylum in world design, in which case you get this one area and you have 10 different ways you can get to it,
and things that you have to come back to as well that you don't have access to at times as well. So there's a lot of things like that. Generally RPG stuff, I guess, really. But
like Arkham Asylum, all the other Arkham games, like Zelda, kind of.
I definitely think you'll enjoy it anyway, whatever happens.
I'm especially excited for going through the Force Unleashed again, because that game, like I said, a podcast past. That game's so good, and I'm looking forward to playing a modern Star Wars lightsaber game.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously it blown everyone away when it came out, but I mean, I think you will enjoy it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's podcast. I don't think there's much else to talk about on the channel. Not much coming up at the moment. There was a video released yesterday, which was an update on the 4G Wi-Fi.
How many views has that got?
Hold on, I'll have a look. I'm on my channel at the moment.
Woo!
It is... Where is it? Oh, there it is. It is 27. Any opinion on that?
What? I didn't hear you say.
Yeah, it's 27.
That's pretty good. In like less than a day, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be alright because it just seems to be a popular topic for me for some reason. But yeah, so that was out yesterday. Haven't got any immediate plans for anything else. I have... well, what else am I doing in my life? I've ordered some more car parts for my car. Does that count as interesting? To fix problems. I've been doing other fixie type stuff this week on it. So I've got some more of them. I've ordered a PlayStation 1.
Interesting.
From CEX, mainly because I kept looking at my console display shelf. Hey, as you know, I've got them all in a height. They're all above each other in separate shelves. So I've made space for the PS5, and I keep thinking, damn it, it doesn't look right without a PS1 there on top. So I bought one.
Are you getting a PSP and a Vita?
No, they're not consoles. They're not console releases.
Oh, just home consoles.
Just consoles. I've never owned a PS1, but I will now. I've never played one or anything. It was before my time, and well, it wasn't before my time, but I certainly never had one. I came onto PlayStation on PS2.
It came out the year we were born, I think.
Yes.
Or at least it did over here.
But yeah, so I will soon, when CEX delivers it, as a boxed one as well. So I'm going to have the box on display along with my PS4 box.
Nice.
I've done some general setup improvements. I send a picture of my shelves the other day, my shelves that I extended.
You just gave me an idea. Because you built me a shelf for my Xbox One,
of course,
with my 360s under, and of course I'll be getting the next Xbox.
Oh God!
I'll be like, it'll look weird not having an original Xbox.
Okay.
So that's the sort of thing I'd wait until I got money.
Well, if you go on CEX, you can generally find any old console on there actually, and you can choose how well you want it. The one I've got comes with a controller with no sticks on it at all.
Yeah, that's what the PS1 controller is.
They do have some PS1 controllers with sticks on it as well, but yeah, I think some
I didn't know that they did PS1 controllers with the sticks.
I think
just
you
know that
can.
I thought that was the thing they wanted to do.
And obviously, if you were to get the PS1, the remake release console where they released last year or something, then you can also get it with that. I didn't get that one. I almost accidentally bought that one, thinking it was that one, but then I was like, oh crap, yeah, it's not the right one. It's weird because it's actually roughly the same price on CEX, one of them, as it is for an old PS1. So 40 quid is what it cost. Not bad.
You can play the OG. You can play original Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah, great. I'll definitely be doing that. I definitely won't be just using it as a display piece.
The next podcast, so Ben, what have you been playing? I played OG Final Fantasy VII, and it was so beautiful.
No, I'm alright. I think
it was an amazing experience.
I don't think that's going to be happening at all. But yeah, that's it for today's podcast. We're at an hour, so I think we need to call it quits before people get even more bored than they already are.
Before you say no, I'm not going to scream hello Shionium this time.
I wasn't going
mainly
to.
because she hasn't asked me to.
That's good.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But yes.
Maybe.
Thank you all for. Okay. Thank you all for listening. If you have made it this far, thank you. And we'll see you in the... By the way, this podcast is, I think it's coming out Sunday.
Oh, how come later?
Just because I want to space out the uploads, otherwise I just don't have anything enough to cover everything.
Fair.
Sunday or Monday, one of them two. I only uploaded yesterday when we're recording this on the Friday, so it's like I don't want to go straight after, days after. I want to leave space. So yeah, that's it really. So it's
Yep.
it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Oh, I can't believe we do that every time now.
Dab.
It's getting old. But anyway, goodbye everyone.